This is the Wing Woman Show. Are you ready?
You are listening to the Wing Woman Show, and this is your host, Morgan Barse. Today, I am so excited to welcome my very own sister, Madison, from Full Herizon to the show. She started her earring brand originally during the quarantine, and honestly, she had a lot of success off the back of TikTok. She's now expanded beyond earrings into headbands, hair scarves. So I'm excited to sit down and chat with her, mostly because she's my sister, but also just the business side of how she has grown her business during quarantine. So thank you so much for joining us today, Madison.
Yes, thanks for having me. I'm so excited. I love listening to all the Wing Woman Show episodes. So I'm honored to be able to be a guest on one.
Oh, thank
Especially as
you.
your sister.
Yeah, you get the family in, like at the family
Yes.
discount, you get to become a guest.
I love it though.
Madison and I honestly started like our entire journey back with Two Sweeties cupcakes and brownies.
Oh gosh.
In like the 5th grade. It was so cute. We would go around with samples to our neighbors to try to persuade people to order cupcakes for us.
Yeah, and I think we should let it be known that it wasn't like no regular cupcake.
No.
You're doing like Reese cup, fortune cookie.
The fortune cookie was our hottest item. I feel like the most creative. We would take fortunes, fold them up in tinfoil, and literally bake them into the cupcakes.
Yeah, we would like spray it with like Pam oil or like some sort of oil.
A little secret, people thought we used to hand make all of our cupcakes, but I am here to reveal to you today that we literally bought the Pillsbury box mix and people loved it.
They loved it. But that journey came to the end once we tried to do birthday cakes and transporting them. Like, we couldn't drive, obviously, so
we were so young.
We only did one birthday cake, and it was our mom driving. And if you know our mom gets really stressed out. Bless her heart. Because she wants everything to go good, obviously, because it's like our little like business that we're doing.
Yeah.
She was so stressed driving. And then that's when I knew, when we couldn't figure out how to keep it stable. It was like, yep.
There was an end to that one.
We know we were not going to be world-class bakers when we were older. So
especially not from a box mix. But honestly, that was like the start of so many different things, because even though it was such a simple project, I feel like that really equipped us with like that elementary school confidence that we needed to pursue all of these different things.
Yeah. And I think back to whenever I was in elementary school and there was like AR reading.
Oh,
and with that was already like sales in a way, where like I was trying to outcompete all my other peers of how much they're reading. So I just always had that competitive drive. I think we both have always had that in us.
Yeah, so. And well, now we've kind of branched off into our different things. So let's go back to the very beginning of the lovely quarantine, which honestly we kind of love so much. We went on our little daily trips to Dunkin'. We worked on our projects, but I think it's really interesting because even at the beginning of quarantine, you were pursuing something that was so different than what you're even doing now.
Yeah, I think back to this time last year, and I didn't even have my website. I didn't even have this idea whatsoever in my mind.
Yeah.
I was working with Gals of Goals with you, doing videos to help kids that had their internship. Yeah, I guess I'm like those kids, but I literally was one of them that had my internship canceled. So I was like prepared to do 2 internships over the summer, not thinking about having my own business really whatsoever. I made my first website, like MadisonBarse.com, beginning of quarantine, and then through like thinking, I really wanted to do something with e-commerce. And I've always had a passion for like earrings. I think
because wasn't your internship at Office Depot supposed to be an e-commerce one?
Yes. So I was supposed to intern with Office Depot for e-commerce, and also had an Aerie externship, just to get prepared for the following year.
And how did you get the Aerie externship?
Yeah, so this just goes to show you how you can always dream big and things can always work out for you. Me and Morgan are always super passionate about just writing cards and just going that extra mile. I think it really kind of stands you out amongst the crowd. And plus, me and Morgan love it in general. So it's just like, why not?
Those personal touches.
Yes, exactly. So for my birthday, I wrote 20 cards to the 20 most influential people in my life because I was turning 20. This was last year, October. So in those notes, I worked at Aerie part-time during the summer. Literally, when I say part-time, I literally only worked 4 hours a week. Like, it was
At least you got the
like,
discount still.
I got the discounts, I got my leggings, and I was like, all right, this is a great experience. I just loved Aerie's message and how they didn't touch anyone's pictures since 2014. I think that's amazing. Which also inspired Full Herizon because I don't want Aerie to be the only one making those changes within the industry. So I wrote a nice handwritten card to the CEO, just thanking her for just building this like incredible brand that I was able to work at. And really just speaking from my heart, just saying like how I like really appreciated what the brand meant. And then probably around 2 weeks later, I got an email from her just thanking me for
the
the
CEO,
nice
right? Like the
CEO
actual CEO.
Yeah, and then she linked recruiters to that email and was like, let's work to get you an internship. And obviously I worked with them for a couple of months, but then COVID hit and they decided not to do anything virtual. So I was out.
And
So.
honestly, you were kind of stuck. Like I think people listening to the episode will be like, "Wow, during quarantine she did all of this." But I would say like even being close to you that for like a period of 2 weeks you were kind of stuck and you were like, "My internship's canceled. This stinks. I was looking forward. You were going to relocate to go to the internship and you were like stuck. You were like, "Okay, what is like next for me? What am I going to do?"
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I was definitely stuck because I was literally talking and about to sign in this place in Boca Raton, like literally about to sign and get my own apartment for the summer. And then that happened. And obviously I was like, oh my gosh, I have to stay home now. And I should also mention that I still had all my clothes, everything stuck in my college dorm because I'm still a college student. I'm a junior at Florida State University. I was still living that dorm life. And when COVID happened, it was only supposed to be an extra week of spring break. And I was like, okay, I think all as college students, we're all like, yes, we need this break. Like, this sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Not really knowing the full impact and the story that COVID would actually have on all of our lives. So I was really stuck wearing clothes out of my middle school closet, trying to make Aeropostale t-shirts fit. And like different pajamas, borrowing things from Morgan's closet because I really only brought a bag thinking that I was going to have 2 weeks vacation and then go back like a hurricane day or something. So yeah, it's crazy.
So during that time, because I know we actually both started working on a site for you for a different podcast called Seeds of Growth, and you were all into that. And so can you walk us through kind of the realization moment where you were like, I think that I actually want to apply my skills and still grow in e-commerce, but I'm going to do it for myself. Like, was there an exact moment that you were like, this is what I'm going to do?
I don't think there was an exact moment where I knew like, this is definitely what I want to do, but I was doing that podcast for a while and it was just like, I think when I was first starting things, I was starting things too general, where my podcast Seeds of Growth was literally for anyone and everyone listening. And it was just about complete random topics, which was, yes, that's great in a way, but like, it wasn't really me. Like, I love woman empowerment. I love talking about self-love. I love like helping people figure out what their passion projects are, go after it. How are you going to make it work? So it's coming up with those processes. So after some time, I realized that I really loved woman empowerment things. So that's when I decided to create a separate podcast called Sundays, where it was just fully dedicated to empowering women, featuring women-led passion projects and their different businesses. So I could have a larger impact on that target audience that I really enjoy talking to in general.
Yeah, well, Can you walk us through how, because you were working on that podcast, but then you decided to leave that podcast and then start your online store and then start the podcast? Because
Yeah.
like starting an online store, it is an investment. You have to buy all the inventory because it's not like you're doing drop shipping. You have your own packaging. You handwrite a card to every single person who buys. So when was the moment where you were like, oh, I'm going to pursue this e-commerce idea?
That's a good question. So, like for me, I'm huge on Pinterest. So I get a lot of inspiration from Pinterest, and I have always loved bold earrings. So I was watching a whole bunch of videos on YouTube because obviously with the e-commerce internship being canceled, I still wanted a way to learn other opportunities. So I went on YouTube, started looking up videos about e-commerce, and I was even looking into drop shipping. But that just doesn't seem like me because I would like to have more control over what I'm sending out, and especially with coronavirus. A lot of drop shipping places go through like foreign countries, and that shipping time was just not it at all. Which I'm glad that I realized early on that like if this were to ever happen again, like you can't rely on other people really to do your stuff. So that's when I realized that I wanted to have my own control over what I'm sending out, how I'm handling those different processes. So through looking up videos on YouTube, and understanding, honestly, I'm still a college student, so I can't have crazy capital, and I'm still looking for ways to grow. Jewelry was something cheap enough that, like, on a college student budget, I could afford to buy enough inventory to have in stock, and then focus on just kind of reinvesting all that money into something so I can start expanding. Because I really want to look into selling t-shirts and selling some other items as well. But I think it's important to start with what you have available and then obviously dream big and work towards that goal later on.
Which is so important, and we talk a lot about it on Gals with Goals too, is your internship was canceled, but you don't always have to have those established opportunities to grow in a specific skill, a specific industry, or to get professional experience, because you can go out and find those opportunities for yourself.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of students get that confused. Like, I know I have a lot of friends that are like, oh my gosh, I have to get an internship by this day. I have to do this. I have to do this. But in reality, you have complete control over what your future is going to look like. It bothers me when people think that they're not capable of doing their dreams, or like they always just push it back to later. Like, yes, I understand if you don't have the money at this exact moment, but you should work to start saving up to get to that point. Like, there's a difference between dreamers and doers, and the doers are the ones that actually put their dreams to work. And that's just something that I really realized over this quarantine. And another thing, I was talking to you about it the other day, actually.
I was just going to bring that up too.
Yeah, because this is something that I've been thinking about every single day. And it's the fact that we put so much pressure on our future selves to be perfect. We think, oh yes, when I'm 60-year-old, I want to wake up at 6:30, go on 30-minute walks, and only eat kale in the morning. And it's like, how is someone going who sleeps in till 10:30, which is me, and going to eat like, I don't know, cereal in the morning, going to just one day at 60-year-old wake up and be like, yep, time to go on my 30-minute walk because I'm 60-year-old. It's, you need to start living your dream life or all your dreams now. Like, you need to build your future self today.
Yeah, no, and that is something that I wanted to bring up too, because it's nice having a very goal-oriented sister, because when you're feeling down or you're not happy with your progress or something like that, you always have someone to turn to kind of hype you up. And it's always nice hearing it from someone else too, to kind of reality check you, to where, like, for example, if you want to have your own show, or if you have a huge dream to be like a millionaire or something like that, or you want to have your own talk show, then what are the things that you're actually doing every single day with the resources that you have? So like for you, you talked about how you see yourself doing like t-shirts and all of these things, but on a college budget, you can only afford to sell the jewelry. So that's what you're doing. And it's just so true.
Yeah, and like something that I think is really important too, that a lot of my friends struggle with, and I think everyone struggles with, especially me, is comparison. So you go on those social media platforms, you see someone doing something just like you, and you start doubting yourself. Well, so and so's already doing it, or you see someone that has this large following and that's doing it in a shorter amount of time than you have. Like, let's say you've only been in business for a year, and they're 3 months into business and like they have like 1 million followers, and then you just start comparing yourself in that way. And then I think you start comparing yourself, and without you even realizing it, you shift in the way you handle your business. So I was talking to Morgan, and I think this is something that's so important, especially with TikTok growing at this time and a lot of other social media platforms just really booming since everyone's really at home, not really like, doing other things, focused on social media. Is that, are you showing up on your social media platform the same as you would if you had that goal of having 10,000 followers? Let's say you only have 200 followers right now. Are you showing up to those 200 followers the same way you would show up to your 1 million followers in the future? And that's when it really struck me that like I need just to start living like my future self now.
Right. And I've seen even people on TikTok who are into like the manifesting thing, where I saw a TikTok as an example with achieving your goal weight. And this woman who was like, 40 pounds away from her goal weight, she put a sticky note over the scale that said like, oh, I want to weigh 130 pounds. And then every single morning she got on the scale and looked down at the sticky note that said 130 pounds. She's like, oh, I weigh 130 pounds. And it's like, tricking your mind. I feel like for me during quarantine was the first time that I realized how powerful your mind can be and how you can manipulate it to really achieve whatever you want. Yeah. Like it's such a mind game beyond anything that I ever even realized. It is such a mind thing.
Yeah, and I think, obviously coronavirus has been a terrible thing, and my heart goes out to all the families that have loved ones going through tough times. But for me personally, it's been such a time for reflection. I never think that I would ever think about all these mind tricks and mind games of just living like your future self if it wasn't for this chunk of time. And I think, again, it just makes you realize how important it is to make time for yourself, to have those moments. Take a pause from work. Take a pause from watching your favorite TV show. Take a pause from going on social media and really tune into yourself and what your mind is saying, what you're saying to yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror. It's all those little fine details that are really driving you in a direction of how your day is going to go.
Which is the opposite of honestly what everyone says you need to do for success. There's just this whole message of hustle and working and showing up every single day. But even I took off for Thanksgiving pretty much Wednesday until Monday today. And even that short break was so refreshing for me, and you can show up so much stronger, especially just take a break, get yourself a cold brew on your first day back, and you show up so much stronger and authentic to yourself.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think the hustle culture is something that needs to kind of fade out soon or sooner or later. And I think just that hustle and constantly feeling like you need to be doing more is just going to lead you one step closer to burnout, which no one wants at all.
Literally up until probably 6 months ago, I didn't take naps when I was tired because I thought that it was wrong and it was taking away from being successful.
Oh, God.
That is so crazy to think about.
A far way.
I have come very far. So let's talk about how long do you think it took you to go from idea to actually your very first sale for earrings?
Wow. So I started doing social media June 30th.
Okay, so let's break down social media a little more.
Yes.
So what platforms were you on?
So at first I was only on Instagram. So June 30th, I started Instagram. And it was June, all of July, I was hyping it up. I was just like being like, oh, just got my new shipment of earrings, which these are the first earrings we sold. I thought it was like a full circle moment. And then August, the first or the second week of August, I think it was. Oh, it was August 7th. I should know. It's like an anniversary date, like you shouldn't forget, but that August 7th was the day that I first opened my store. And yeah, I will get into what like my store later on, like the open dates and how I thought about that. But August 7th, I opened and sold out of 40 pairs of earrings in 5 hours on my launch date. And
and that was only from being on Instagram, right?
Only Instagram, no other social media platforms. And I was honestly shocked. I was so shocked because I think something that really helped me was I just expected no one to buy anything at all. Like I was expecting my grandma to buy something. I was expecting like my aunt to buy something because they told me they were gonna buy something. So I was like, okay, like 2 orders, like yay, like I'll get all my tissue paper ready. Like this is gonna be so exciting. And then when I saw all these like orders piling in from like mutual friends that I like just so happened to follow on Instagram, I was shocked. I could not believe it. I was like, so I must be doing something right. I must be selling something actually cute and not just something from something from like my friends and family. So that's the moment when I realized that might be something bigger than what I thought it was. So then I just started hustling a little bit more, and I created my TikTok account, and I also linked like a Facebook and Instagram account like probably 2 weeks after I opened, just so I could have like that traffic, since you can post on both. I'm sure you know all about that. But TikTok has been crazy helpful.
So before we get into TikTok, I feel like a couple of things that I want to mention in the very beginning is that a lot of people even struggle to get their first sale, and you sold out on the first day. And I think it really came down to a couple of things for you that I saw you doing from the outside. You hyped it up a lot. You sent personalized messages to every single person that followed you for months. You did that before you had anything to sell. And like, I feel like that speaks a lot of volume, because someone might be listening to this and they're like, oh, I'm not even like near to what she is because I didn't even sell 5 things on my first open day. But it came down to like, you didn't expect people to buy, but you still showed up for them like they were going to buy.
Yeah, and that's a really good point that I completely forgot that I did. That helped me tremendously was I think that I wasn't really going out there expecting people to buy. I wasn't going out selling people. I was more focused on building a community around woman empowerment. So I wasn't messaging these people like, hey, like this is what I'm launching, selling cute woman accessories, check us out, smiley face. It was more like, hey, thank you so much for following. I'm so excited for you to see what's to come. If there's ever anything that you need help with, if you're starting a business or passion project, please let me know. I would love to support you. And then through that, I just started messaging, and then it just created a community of genuine people. And I think through that, I was able to just get those one-on-one connections and really understand what my followers are like, what they're looking for, what products they're excited about. So that way I can kind of get a better idea of inventory. So I definitely forgot I did that. And then another thing that I did was I just went on my explore page, and I would just comment on people's kind of like the Gary Vee style tactics of just going on top hashtags and commenting. I mean, that really helped me. I gained around 200 followers in the first month on my Instagram by doing all of that.
Well, and I think it comes down to, we talked about it a lot because I was obviously here during quarantine, but it comes down to, for you, you had that overarching message, because people don't like to feel like they're being sold to. So like, you had that overarching message of like empowering women to live their best life, or whatever it is for your brand. Like, I'm sure you have something more specific, but it allowed people you didn't even know to attach to that message, regardless of what you were selling or who you were. And honestly, now that gives you even more flexibility to expand out into hair scarves and headbands, or eventually like with more things with your podcast, maybe an event. Like it gives you that flexibility. And like from the very beginning you did that.
Yeah, well, thank you. That was very nice of you. But yeah, I agree with you. I think having a strong core mission and then just kind of branching off of that really helps, because again, like you said, people hate feeling like they're getting sold to. So you need to sneak creative ways into doing that, just to make it a more fun way. Because I know and this is another thing too, is you need to think of yourself as a shopper. I hate getting spammed with emails. I hate those like little sales emails. Like I never read those. I never open them because I just feel like I'm literally getting sold to. So through that, I knew that I didn't want to have emails sent out every day. I knew that I'm not really going to be an account that's going to post 5 times a day, like maybe once every other day or 3 times a week. So it's just understanding who you are as a shopper and what you would want to see, and then just making that customer experience the same for your shoppers.
Yeah. So let's get into TikTok now, because obviously that has led to probably the most success, and you've had multiple viral videos. I think you even have one like kind of going right now. So you started on TikTok, and kind of like walk us through the process of that.
So I started on TikTok, and honestly, I was a little upset. And this goes back to how you compare yourself very easily. So I was posting videos. I was literally getting 10 views. I was like, how in the world, what am I doing wrong? I literally had 5-10 followers for the first month, got really upset. Like, obviously there's no growth here. Like Instagram, where I'm at, like forget this account. And then I just kept seeing so many people like doing so well off of TikTok. Like I was on small business TikTok, the side of TikTok, and I was just seeing all these people getting so many orders from people off of TikTok. So then I was like, all right, I'm not going to give up easy. I'm going to post 2 times a day for a week just to see how it goes. And it only took 1 video. And now it's funny because it's not even like that much to me, but at the time I was like, oh my gosh, like it was like Morgan's birthday weekend, I think. And I was like, it's my video's going viral. Like, let's see how many likes it has now. And it literally only had, I think now it has like 6,000 likes, which is nothing. And then it was like 36,000 views. But I was so excited. And through that, I gained like 200 followers, which was amazing. So I felt super popular already with that. I was like, oh yes, like people know.
So what do you think the biggest difference was between that video and all the other videos you did the month prior?
Honestly, nothing, which is the crazy part. There's nothing like there's tons of people that get caught up in what time should I post, or like all those different little knickknacks. And I honestly, like, I've tried to post all these different content pieces, and it's just by chance at the moment. That's what I'm assuming it is. I mean, it sounds super basic, but just create content that you think your followers would like, and then boom. And I think a big thing too is don't use too many hashtags. I guess this is if anyone's looking to do it, only use like 2 to 3 hashtags directed to your target audience, and make sure that's consistent throughout your videos. So you don't want to be like hashtagging totally different things. Make sure it's consistent overall, because then they would know what side of TikTok to kind of move it towards.
Okay, so those are great tips. And so after your first like your mini viral video hit, did you see like a spike in sales?
I did. So, well, I don't think at the moment I realized, because I was still like leftover friends and family buying and mutual friends buying. So it was like, because at first in my business, and I think this is important to admit, because obviously right now it sounds like everything is super, like she's amazing. I had such a problem with inventory in the beginning. I was really struggling so hard to get inventory because I was so new to the ideas of buying things from vendors. I don't make my earrings, which a lot of people think I do, but I don't make my earrings. I buy through vendors, and I didn't realize it takes a month for them to get to you. So I was like, all right, let's do this. I sold out, wasn't expecting it at all. So I had to wait a month until I got that next shipment of earrings in. So I was really trying to pull anything and everything together so I could just push inventory out. Like I was trying to find anywhere. So that was extremely stressful. So I did see a spike in sales in email signups at first. Because again, I had no inventory going for
Well,
me.
and I guess we should also mention that your store is only open on Sundays.
Yes. So this is the perfect time to mention this as well. So Sundays for 24 hours, I'm open. Which today and this weekend was Black Friday, so I have the entire weekend, which is the first time in months that I was open multiple days. So yeah, so I only sell starting at noon on Sundays, Eastern time, and it's all the way until that following Monday at noon Eastern time. So it's a really exciting time because on noon you see all those increase in visitors, and then everything's just super high demand, boom, 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 and then we sell out within hours. So it's super crazy and super fun. So you constantly have to be thinking, what am I going to do for next weekend? Since this is how much that sold, let me start buying things now so I can be prepared for the following month. It's a constant, like, focus on the next month kind of thing.
Right. And I think it goes to mention that in the very beginning, we were a little hesitant to have you only open the store one day a week. And I mean, obviously, I think anyone would be, but now it's so fun because I'll read the comments sometimes on your TikToks. And someone commented the other day and they were like, I have a calendar notification that goes off every Sunday when you open. So it's like you really did create like not only a community, but an actual event around it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people still today are like, why are you limiting yourself so much to only Sundays? But to me, it's more of a branding idea. So for me, I really want my shoppers to think that they're spreading sunshine and just shining and thriving in anything that they do. So it's a huge spreading sunshine, spreading kindness kind of feel and vibe. So for Sunday, it was the perfect day to choose to sell everything. Weekends, I have Sundays, which is podcasts. So that's every Sunday too, a new episode gets released. And then I only do one email a week because I hate email spam, and that goes out on Sunday. So Sunday is really Sunday fun day, you could think of.
Yeah.
The opposite of Chick-fil-A, which I get a lot of comments on.
Really?
Yeah, it's the opposite of Chick-fil-A. So it's just one day of just so much fun to treat yourself, because I think as a woman, especially, we don't take the time to buy things for ourselves and make us feel extra loved and appreciated.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Well, we were joking the other day that on your sales page, when people are checking out, we should give them like positive money affirmations like, yes, you need those earrings. Yes, the person you're going to give them to will love them.
Yeah, exactly. And it is true, because I think we kind of doubt ourselves when it comes down to those defining moments of, oh, am I actually going to buy this for myself? Is this selfish to buy for myself? Especially for moms, you feel like you're selfish for buying for yourself when you have kids that possibly need things or something. You're like, why should I spend money on myself? But we all deserve it. We need to treat ourselves.
That's right. That's right. Amen to that, sister. So what is your biggest piece of advice for someone who's listening and either wants to start their own store, wants to develop a product to sell? What is your biggest piece of advice that you learned during the process and up till now?
Wow, that's a crazy question, because boy, have I learned so many things through this experience. I guess my thing would just be, I don't want to sound too cliche, but like, just start on your social media pages from day one. Like, even if I didn't have my product yet, I didn't know what I was selling it. I started that Instagram page. I had a completely different theme in mind.
I was just going to say that. It was like the Saharan desert.
Yes, it was a Saharan desert theme at first.
Literally the opposite of what you are now.
The opposite. I don't even know what was going through my head at that time. But I started that page, started posting Saharan themes things, and it was kind of weird. But then through that, I just kind of archived all those posts and then started fresh. And yeah, so just start now. You don't need to know what you're selling, but if you know what target audience you want to be selling to, this is your time to start building that following up so people can start trusting you, start building those relationships, so that way when you do eventually release the launch day or release what you're selling, they're able to support you in the ways that they can. They feel like they can trust like what you're going to be selling.
Yeah, those are great tips. Well, Madison, thank you so much for joining us today and just sharing all of your golden nuggets of wisdom. If you are listening right now on the podcast, you can check out her podcast, Sundays by Madison Barse. It's on Apple and on Spotify. You can also buy some of her beautiful headbands, earrings, hair scarves on Full Herizon. Oh, yeah, if you're watching the video version of this episode, she's showing some off right now. The cutest packaging. Honestly, if you have some ladies on your nice list this year that you need to get some presents for, they come in the cutest packaging. She handwrites notes. They are the perfect gift. You can get them at fullherizon.com, and they're only open on Sundays. So set that calendar notification because this girl sells out fast.
Yes, thank you, Morgan. I really appreciate you letting me be a guest on your show and letting me share my story. Thank you.
Of course.